Hey guys, Jake's on point here with episode 2 of my Kerbal Space Program Let's Play. Today we're going to be going to Minmus. So just load up the save here. Um, so people say, oh, well, you should go to the moon. Well, Minmus has lower gravity and therefore is easier to land to, and it takes a lot less delta V to get there. So we're just going to build a pretty traditional lander with a few modifications, small parachute, I should say, a decoupler for that final, descent stage back to Kerbin. The FLT, the FLT 400 fuel tank, because it's a pretty good fuel tank for little landers, because it carries enough fuel for the tiny engines to be efficient. What I am going to do on this one, though, as opposed to just a regular single stack lander, is having fuel tanks on the sides with the small Rockamax engines on them. Now, I've never done a lander like this, so I don't know how efficient it's going to be, or how effective it's going to be, I should say. But I think it'll be, it can't be bad, right? Just running some fuel lines in towards the center fuel tank, so that I'm not draining fuel out of there, so my big engine is getting the majority of the fuel. Just going to put some struts here to secure it, some more on the outside so it doesn't wobble. Next we're going to throw in some lander legs, just things that would help a lander, and a ladder, and then a couple extra ladders so they can get down to the ladder. Now I'm just going to put a launch strut on, and we're going to actually have to test this to make sure that the ladder and everything reaches. Oh, and it's night. Fantastic. Oh, you can see the spaceplane hangar there in the background. Let's do a little bit of a time warp here. Okay, put the legs down. Slowly, of course. Our majestic flag in the background. And, ooh, that could have gone a lot better. So that's our, main engine that exploded. Well, let's see if the ladder at least reaches the ground. Right? And it looks like, yep, it goes through the ground, so that's fantastic. So our legs are too short and our ladder's too long. Well, I know one way to fix this. We can just put different legs on it. Move the ladder around. There we go. Put the big heavy struts on. They're a little bit heavier and they might be unnecessary, but with this kind of lander it'll be fine. And it's nighttime again. Okay, move my action groups around. Deploy those legs. Yep, that all seems to work. Let's check out the ladder. And that's a bit short. That's okay. So we will put the little ladder section back in, just to give that ladder a bit of extra distance. Okay, now let's get to building this rocket. So for Minmus, you're going to need a couple stages. You're going to need a booster stage and solar panels so that you don't run out of electrical charge, because it's really terrible if you get all the way out there and then you're maneuvering so much that you run out of power. So yeah, you're going to need a couple stages. You're going to need a boost stage to get yourself into orbit, and then you're actually going to need an intermunal stage to get yourself to Minmus. So we've just got a couple fuel tanks. We'll put an LVT 45 down there with thrust vectoring, because obviously we're gonna need it in space to steer this thing. Next, we're gonna put the tricouplers and some LVT 30s down there. Once again, I made the mistake of using the LVT 30s and not the LVT 45s, because I thought, oh, I've got some fins. I'm sure I'll be fine. Okay, get the launch supports and rename this. I guess this will be the K2 Lunar Lander. Yeah, because it's going along with our K-dash naming scheme. And put some struts so everything doesn't fall apart on us, because that's happened before, especially with this tri-separator. And just strut the engines to the body. Okay, that's looking good. Let's launch this. And it's nighttime, but it's never stopped us before. Actually, it has. Just get our nav all set up, rotate around, take a look where Minmus is. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do a straight burn for Minmus. It's at the wrong angle, so I'm going to have to get into orbit first. I mean, I'm sure I could do a straight burn for Minmus, but not the way I know how. And it looks like we have Jebediah Kerman bravely going where no man has gone before. It's a reference. And we have liftoff. slowly, but we do have liftoff. So all our stages are in order. Now we just begin the long journey to orbit. Okay, so I am doing this at night, which is, I don't like really doing things at night because I like to be able to see the spacecraft a little more. But okay, we're going. We're still doing good on fuel. Trying to stay below 200 meters per second, and I'm not very stable. I'm actually having to fight the rocket a bit here, quite a bit in fact, which is unfortunate because I don't want to have to fight it the entire time I'm trying to get into orbit, so it's not the best way to do it. Yeah, I think I'll probably just end this flight instead of fighting with it. Because I get to the point where I'm, I can't even get it turned over because I'm just trying to keep it going straight. Okay, so definitely put the LVT-45s on there to give me thrust vectoring, and you know what, some more fins cannot hurt. Fix my staging around so I'm not firing anything at the same time. Okay, and let's do this during the day because I really don't want to have to do this at night again. Daytime's just easier. Okay, throttle up and launch and release. Ooh, very slow start. But that's okay. We're making my way downtown, or to space, very, very slowly. Oh god, I'm regretting putting those LVT-45s on there. But anyways, we're going. Yeah, the LVT-45s will be better in the long run, but they're not nearly as, well, they're actually not too much weaker than the LVT-30s. The 30s are just nicer, in my opinion. But you notice we don't have any of those stability issues that we had on the last run. Getting up to about 8,500 meters now. Getting ready for our gravity turn. Just slowly start to turn over, rotating a little bit, but that's okay. That's just because we've got 3 rockets instead of 4 or 2. Just, a little bit of fighting, but not nearly as much. And that's kind of to be expected in a gravity turn, at least at the start of one. So we're getting our nose over, just getting close to 1,500 meters, or 15,000 meters. My bad. Jib seems to be having a pretty good time down there. Just, riding along. And, okay, let's see what our apoaps is, about 20,000. And we're going. Oh, and we're out of fuel, so we'll get that second stage going. Just getting our apoaps even higher. Just, nosing over a little bit more. Kind of just following that prograde marker. Beautiful view of the Kerbal Galaxy. I don't know if they've named it yet. That'd be kind of interesting. I look forward to when they add other solar systems, new galaxies, faster engines. Okay, so we're looking at the position of Minmus, and it doesn't look like I'm, it doesn't look like I'm going to quite be able to launch directly there again. So I'm going to have to get into orbit, but that's okay. Fortunately, I'm running very low on fuel. I've got my doubts about this mission. I don't think Jeb has. He doesn't know any better. But so we're firing this next stage, trying to get up to speed, and looks like we're out of fuel. So now we're on our lander stage. This is not good. Yeah, that is not a good situation to be in. But, we've come this far. We should get all the way there. So now we're just, getting our maneuver node set up. And you'll actually notice, well, you might have noticed, that Kerbal and Minmus are on 2 different planes. Not all the time, but there's, you'll notice an ascending and descending node. It's best to try and get to Minmus on one of those, because then you're at the same, you're on the same plane. But we can do some minor course corrections once we get out past the moon to get ourselves in line with it. You might have noticed in the background that you could barely see Minmus, probably only about a pixel high, or pixel big. Okay, now we're just messing around with this maneuver node, trying to get an actual encounter. It takes a little bit of work. Oh, there we go. So you see we've got an actual encounter. We have a periaps with Minmus, which is good, because from that we can, land, or get in orbit at least. But it's best when you're doing this to try and get the lowest periaps you can. With these moons, they don't have an atmosphere, so you can, as long as you don't hit any mountains, I think Minmus has some 4 kilometer, 5 or 6 kilometer mountains. I know the moon has some 8 kilometer mountains because I've hit them while orbiting. As funny as that is. Okay, just getting out here, ready for our correction burn. And just about to burn. We need just a decent amount of delta V too to get ourselves out there. Luckily, we did most of it with our other stages, but the fact that we're on our lander stage and we're not even near Minmus yet is a little concerning. But we're almost there, so we're about to get captured. Well, here in a second by Minmus, and you'll actually see our orbit change. It'll get a little funky at first, because see, we just hit our Kerbal Apoaps, and there we go, captured. You do notice that the game pauses for a second to recalculate everything. So now we're technically in Minmus orbit, but it's not really an orbit because we're going to fly right past it because of our speed, so we need to slow down. So you notice at the periaps, just like you would for deorbiting from Kerbin, I go retrograde, and it brings me back around, and I've got a periaps of about 20,000 meters, so that's not bad. Preferably I'd like to have it around 10, but what are you gonna do? So we getting closer to that apoaps. I guess it's currently our periaps, what will become our apoaps. So we do that burn, use a lot of fuel. No, not a whole lot, but more than I'd like. So getting down there, cut the thrusters. Okay, so we're a little bit farther away, but that's okay because it's low enough. Now, normally, what would be the smart thing would be to quick save before once you're in orbit. But I'm not going to do that because I'm reckless. I like to live dangerously. So you notice those. We're going to try and land on one of those ice lakes. I'm assuming that's what they are. It looks that planet or the Minmus looks like it's mostly ice. So I'm going to try and land there because that is I'm assuming is going to be sea level. I'm not assuming. I know that's sea level. So I want to land there. On those mountains, I have to do everything visually or use the radar altimeter, and it's just easier to land over the ice lakes. So obviously, because the moon is rotating out from under us, I have to keep adjusting. And I actually completely missed it because I bumped the wrong key and went into 100,000 times rotation. So now I'm kind of just orbiting, waiting to get another good landing site again. I missed that one too. And then I accidentally set the focus to Minmus, and I can't reset it to my lander, so I have to tab through all the planets, and I'm back. So I've got a pretty good landing window now. I'm just going to bring it back down again onto those ice lakes, giving the moon, I should say, some time to rotate under me. And she's rotating, we're getting closer. It doesn't take as much fuel to slow me down to land because gravity is so low. It's the same with taking off. It takes a lot less fuel to get into orbit. Even though gravity is pretty low, it's not non-existent, obviously, because I've been pulled in by it. But just getting up, getting set for our maneuver, aiming at the node on my nav ball, the little blue marker. And we'll probably start this burn here, yeah, cut it in half. Probably go a little bit more than that so I can not land on a mountain. Okay, that should be enough. And now we'll come out to the craft, try and find Minmus, spin us around so the nav ball's blue on top, orange on the bottom, because, I'm a bit OCD when it comes to that for some reason. Trying to find Minmus. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, I lost you. You gigantic ball of ice. Now it looks like we're just coming in over those lakes. You can actually see some of those really high mountains. There's one that we're going to land by that looks like it's just a huge plateau that you could totally hit if you were orbiting too low. And I rhymed. Okay, throttle up a little bit just to kind of ease into the landing. Now I could do what's called a suicide burn and burn a lot of fuel when I get really close to, just destroy my speed. But those are dangerous because sometimes you slow down too quickly and you actually start accelerating again, or sometimes you don't slow down enough and you smash into the ground. But we're just getting a little bit closer, gears out to be optimistic. Okay, we're coming down, just a little more burn, slow us down a little bit more. We're getting in about 3 kilometers up. You can start to see ground clutter, those little rocks. I'm pretty sure at this point those are still harmless to land on, but better not take our chances. And I screw up my camera. There we go. So now, getting even closer, down to about a kilometer. I'll rotate the camera around. You can actually see my shadow, which is a good indicator. But I am coming in a bit, not too fast, but a bit faster than I'd like. So slow down a little bit. There we go. 300, or I should say 400 meters. Just a little bit more. This is a pretty good controlled landing. See my shadow's getting a little bit bigger. At this point I've still actually got a surprising amount of fuel, more than I thought I would, so I'm actually doing okay there on fuel. Gently, you can never be too cautious when landing. I guess you could be, but you know, I haven't had an experience where caution has, you know, ruined a landing for me. So coming down, I just want to get it to around 1 to 2 meters per second. You know, I know the legs can at least handle that. They can probably take a lot more than that, but better safe than sorry. Once again, caution. Going down 20 meters. Almost there, just slowly descending. Jebediah is on the edge of his seat. Oh. And touchdown. We have landed on Minmus. And you can see the Mun and Kerbin in the background. What a beautiful picture. Let's extend that ladder and get Jebediah down on this new alien surface. Some rocks in the background. But we're not going to check those out, at least not yet. First man to walk on another moon. First Kerbal to walk on another moon, I should say. He's not a man. Or is he? Just hop down off the ladder there. Or fall, you know. Whatever you fancy. It's amazing you're an astronaut. Not used to this low gravity. Let's take a jump. Oh, wow. Look at that. Completely cleared the spacecraft. Probably cleared 2 of the spacecraft. Wow. Oh no. He's coming in pretty fast. Is he going to make it? Oh, he's completely fine. Look at how excited he is. He's ecstatic. Now, I am trying to figure out how to plant the flag. You know, because I can't remember. I know it's right-clicking. And there it is. Let's plant that Kerbal Enterprises flag. Oh yeah, look at that. Our cool blue and thing flag. Oh, make a little plaque. Fortunately, I'm not too sure about Jebediah's survival. But, nonetheless, he doesn't need to know that. Even though he's the one with the plaque saying he may not survive, but that's okay. So, there we go. We've left our mark on this Martian surface. Look at that. Jump for joy. God, look at that height. Could have a basketball league on Minmus. Be very difficult in low gravity and the lack of oxygen. I take that back. That would be a terrible idea. Well, as much fun as we've had here, it's time to go home. I know, long journey for such a short trip, but Jebediah is eager to get back to his wife and his 3 children, Zeke, Charles, and Damien Kerman. So, he sees his home. No, he's realizing how far away he is. But, he's prepared. Oh, and there we go. I switched focus back to Kerbin again. And, being the idiot I am, I have no idea how to switch back to the lander without tabbing through all the planets. So, let's begin. And we're back. And liftoff. So we descend above the Martian surface. We're just going to do a straight burn for Kerbin. I realize there are more efficient ways to do this, and I think so is Jebediah. So we're out of fuel in our 4 auxiliary tanks, so now we're just going off the main motor. We see we're bringing our periapsis down. It's not nearly close enough. The amount of fuel it would take to get back from there is just ridiculous. Some millions of kilometers. But we're getting there. Closer and closer. We've still got fuel. We're good. We should be able to do this. We can see our orbit is changing. Getting even closer. Okay, now we're about the moon. Min. However you pronounce that. I think it's Min. But don't quote me on that. Oh, look at that. 3 million kilometers? Come on, so close. 2. Can we get 1? Okay, let's see what we can do. We're coming in under. Ooh. How much fuel is that going to take? No, we do not have that amount of fuel. Can we get it? No, we're losing it. We're losing it. We're losing it. No. Oh, it's going. Oh. Can we... Oh, we're getting closer. Come on. Oh, no. It appears we've run out of fuel, and now we've passed by. Well, there's only one thing to do at a time like this. Jebediah, you are a proud, brave Kerbin. You served like a true hero. You will be missed. We will not forget. But, unfortunately, your time has come. I say, more power to you. Godspeed. And rest in peace.
Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human.
Anyways, that's the end of Jeb, at least for now. I've been Jake's on Point Gaming. This was episode 2. If you guys like this, like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.